It's May, and everyone in Indiana knows what that means. Caitlin Clark played a game in Indiana for the first time since June. The Knicks and Wolves are moving on, and something is clearly wrong with the Celtics after a crazy night in the NBA playoffs. All of that and so much more coming up on the Central Indiana Sports Report's 10-minute daily report. 10 minutes tailored specifically for Central Indiana sports fans. I'm your host, Greg Mengel, and I love Central Indiana sports. Coming up today, May 1st, 2026, a very busy Friday ahead of a very busy weekend. Caitlin Clark's return, a wild night in the NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup, Reds, local and national news and notes, and high school and local college softball and baseball, and high school and local college baseball and softball. Just a reminder, this show airs first thing in the morning on weekends, so 8 a.m. tomorrow. I'll have current Elwood Call Leader and Tipton Tribune sports editor Michelle Garman and former Jeffersonville Evening News and New Albany Tribune sports editor Mike Hutzel on to talk about the new IHSA, proposals, in particular NIL and a basketball shot clock. It was a fun and fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. Your 10-minute update begins now. Hey, everybody, it's May. The best month in Indiana, especially when the Pacers are playing. Stay tuned for that in 2027. We are 23 days away from the 110th Indianapolis 500. Of course, the next time there's activity on the track at IMS, it'll be on the road course. It's not quite like the old days, but it's still Indy, and it's May, and I cannot wait. Looking forward to bringing you the news every day that there are cars on the track. And we have an IndyCar report with Elijah Poe coming up later today discussing the 2 days of testing at IMS a couple of days ago. The Indiana Fever lost 95-80 to the Dallas Wings in their final WNBA preseason game. None of that matters, of course. What matters is Fever fans got to see Caitlin Clark for the first time since June on Thursday at the Fieldhouse. And Caitlin had it going early. She finished with 21 points and 4 assists in just 16 minutes, going 4 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from behind the three-point line, and 11 of 13 at the foul line. She left the game after being hit by Alana Smith, but it didn't seem too serious. She didn't return, but her night was probably done anyway. We released a Fever report after the game on Thursday night with John Robertson and Michelle Garman, recapping and reacting to the preseason game against the Wings. The Fever host the Nigerian national team in their final regular season warm-up Saturday at 7. Then the regular season kicks off next Saturday against the same Wings. What a bummer that the rest of the NBA playoffs are going to be played without the world's best player, Nikola Jokic. Jaden McDaniels got his revenge on the Nuggets with 32 points, and even without Anthony Edwards, the Timberwolves eliminated Jokic and the Nuggets with a 110-98 Game 6 victory. Might be over for the Jokic Nuggets. And did the Atlanta Hawks show up to Game 6 drunk? Seriously, that's the only explanation that I can figure out what happened last night. The most one-sided playoff game I can ever remember. Facing elimination in Game 6, here's how the Hawks responded. By trailing 50-16, 72-22, 93-36, and 101-40. Insane. The Knicks look great on both ends, of course. I thought for sure it was going to be the Knicks and Celtics in the second round for Eastern Conference supremacy. I'm not even sure Boston will get there. The Knicks really look like they're in good shape to win the Eastern Conference. The Celtics, on the other hand, have looked awful the last couple of nights. Paul George and Joel Embiid look like the old Paul George and Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey scored 30. Game 7 is Saturday at 7:30 on NBC, the only playoff game on Saturday. With the first round winding down, we have 3 Game 6s tonight on Prime Video. At 7, the Magic can end top seed Detroit's season unceremoniously with a victory in Orlando. That should be fun. At 7:30, Cleveland is at Toronto. The Raptors looking to force a Game 7 in Cleveland. I think they will. And the Lakers go for a shot at history at 9:30 in Houston. 159 teams in NBA history have won the first 3 games in a series. Every single one of them has advanced to the next round. The Lakers won the first 3 games against the Rockets and have lost the last 2. Fun night again. In the NHL, the Minnesota Wild and Anaheim Ducks advanced in the Western Conference playoffs with Game 6 wins on Wednesday night, both by 5-2 final scores. The Wild will take on West favorite Colorado, and the Ducks get either Vegas or Utah in the West semifinals. No schedule yet. That's because there are still 3 ongoing series in the first round. All 3 Game 6s tonight. Lightning Canadiens at 7 in Montreal, with the Canadiens having the opportunity to advance. That's on ESPN2. The other 2 are on ESPN at 7:30. The Sabres look to close out the Bruins in Boston, and the night ends with Vegas, Utah at 10. Again, the winner gets Anaheim. That'll be the Knights with a win tonight. Of course, a Game 7 if the Mammoth are able to pull that one off. Greg versus Will versus the world. Will Rutherford and I wagered a point on the Lightning Canadiens Game 6. We also debated the NFL draft, the NBA, and the WNBA. That was released a little earlier today. Please go check that out. By the way, no NHL playoff games Saturday because all of the series scheduled for Saturday have concluded. There are 3 Game 7s on Sunday. TJ Friedel and Nathaniel Lowe homered for Cincinnati, but the story of the Reds' latest win was defense. Andrew Abbott needed a great outing, and the defense helped him out a ton. Abbott, an all-star from last year, picked up his first win of the year, and the Reds are now 20-11. The Cardinals doubled up the Pirates 10-5 for a 4-game sweep in Pittsburgh. St. Louis now 2 games back of the Reds. The Brewers remain 3.5 back after a 13-1 win over Arizona and Milwaukee. The Cubs are just a game back of the Reds. They return home from a West Coast trip. An impressive 3-3 record against the Dodgers and Padres. And now house upstart Arizona, 2:20 today, 2:20 tomorrow, and 2:20 on Sunday. The Cardinals host the Dodgers for 3, and the Brewers are in Washington for 3 this weekend. A couple of quick national news and notes. Cameron Young has a 1-shot lead over Jordan Spieth at the PGA's Cadillac Championship at Trump Doral in Miami through the first round. And it looks like the NFL will name Minneapolis the host of the 2028 NFL Draft. Next year it will be in D.C. Local news and notes, former New Pal and Gray Star Julius Geezy has committed to Bellarmine in Louisville. Great landing spot for him. It was the second CIC night of the year on Thursday, and in softball, unbeaten Alexandria held off Mississinawa for an 8-6 to win. Brindley Humphreys doubled and drove in a pair of runs for the Tigers. Blackford beat Madison Grant 5-0. Grant Kessinger tossed a shutout in Frankton's 3-0 win over Eastbrook. The Eagles and Alexander are now the only 2 unbeaten teams left in the CIC. It was the first conference loss for Eastbrook. And Elwood beat Oak Hill 17-14 in an absolute slugfest. Kelsey Arms homered and scored 3 times. Addison Jones was 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and scored twice. In baseball, Alexandria beat Mississinawa 5-2. Will Rowland drove in 4 of the Tigers' 5 runs. Blackford beat Madison Grant 7-3. Oak Hill drubbed Elwood 25-1. Tanner Boswell 4 for 5, a triple, an RBI, and scored 4 times for the Golden Eagles. And Eastbrook defeated Frankton 12-7. The Panthers scored 12 times in the first 3 innings. Oak Hill, Eastbrook, and Alexandria are the 3 remaining unbeaten teams in the CIC. Eastbrook and Oak Hill play each other in the Grant 4, a non-conference game, on Saturday. In the Crossroads League baseball tournament, both are undefeated so far in the double elimination tournament. Today, Taylor plays Marion at 2:30. Indiana Wesleyan faces Huntington at 6. The semifinal round is Saturday. The champion will be crowned Monday at noon or 3 o'clock if every team has a loss. And in softball, regular season champion Indiana Wesleyan was eliminated from the double elimination tournament after 2 games in Fort Wayne. They were defeated 3-2 by Spring Arbor on Wednesday, 5-1 by Huntington on Thursday. Taylor's also out. Either Marion, Spring Arbor, or St. Francis will win the championship this afternoon. And coming up on Friday, May 1st, 2026, it's Kentucky Derby weekend. And on Friday morning, Robusta was named the replacement for Right to Party Out, which withdrew because of leg weakness. Todd Pletcher's Renegade is a very slight favorite in a very wide open field. So Happy, Commandment, the Puma, Chief Wallaby, and Further Ado are all about the same odds. Tonight at 6:57, it's Ladies' Night. The Kentucky Oaks, the world's top 2-year-old fillies, for one of the biggest races in the world. Zany is the favorite at 5-1, and she has the same trainer and jockey as Derby favorite Renegade. The Indy Ignite return home to the Fishers Event Center at 7 o'clock tonight with a showdown with the Columbus Fury. The Ignite have the best record in Major League Volleyball at 21-5. They're also at home on Sunday at 1 against San Diego. That's the regular season finale. The Ignite will be in the 4-team playoffs in Frisco, Texas, May 7th through the 9th. Sunday's opponent, San Diego, could be a first-round playoff opponent. I hope to talk to my friend Aaron Pittman, the Ignite's PA announcer, ahead of the playoffs on this podcast. In college softball this weekend, Purdue's at Iowa, IU hosts Illinois, McKenna Alexander and the Butler Bulldogs host Providence, and Ball State is at Buffalo. Cardinals and Bulls play 2 this afternoon. And in baseball, along with the continuing Crossroads tournament, Ball State's at Toledo, Butler hosts Seton Hall, Indiana is at Northwestern, and Purdue has a rare non-conference weekend series with Missouri Valley leader Murray State. And 4 games at 4 sites Friday night in the NCAA men's volleyball tournament. No local teams will play on Friday. However, Pepperdine and Fort Valley State play at 7 in Noblesville, with the winner facing 4th-ranked Ball State Saturday at 6 o'clock, with the winner advancing to the Final Four. UCLA, Hawaii, and Long Beach State are the other top seeds and hosts. And now you know everything I know about Central Indiana sports. See you tomorrow. Hey, make sure you go check out the Fever Report and the IU Report released earlier this week. Also, my debate and prediction podcast with Will Rutherford was released earlier today. And later today, Elijah Poe and I recap the 2 days of testing at IMS on the IndyCar Report. That one was a lot of fun, too. Please check them all out. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.